Hello everybody, my name is Ling Minghua. So today we're going to be talking about again updates on the story of the basic situation regarding the Insurrection Act and the legal battles in Minnesota. So a few last days I've told you guys about the shooting of an ICE agent. ICE here is basically United States Immigration and Custom Enforcement Agent. So ICG stands for Immigration and Custom Enforcement. And so an ICE agent fatally shot Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old mother in Minneapolis. I'm gonna be telling you guys briefly about it. And so it was a pretty devastating and sad story. That time, I'll call her Good. Good was just coming from the kindergarten. She just dropped her 6 years old son to school, and now she's driving back. Then she got into a traffic jam, I believe, and the road there was really icy. And so the ICE agents started to record. One agent started to record, the other agent wanted to block her, so they grabbed her by the door of the car. She's still in her SUV, and so they grabbed the car of the SUV while the SUV is still trying. She's trying to run away from the police officers, but they kept on grabbing the car. They kept on trying to force her to open and yank open the car door. And so Good was not wanting to deal with the police officers at all, and so she tried to run away. And so in that time, out of a defensive action, an ICE agent pulled out his gun. Then the car was at this point, right? It was driving, for example, like this. And so the agent was standing at here. So there's through all of the footages that have been recorded by the people around and the footage of himself too, it have clearly shown that here he's standing here. The tire and the wheels and the car, the SUV itself, have never actually hit him. And at that time, he took out his shotgun and he shot 3 fatal shots straight into Renee's car. He's standing right here. And so the distance was super near. He shot into the front mirror and to the side mirror too. And through the 3 shots, it fatally killed Renee. And she was dead right at the spot. And so her car, since it was driving, you guys remember that, right? And she passed away. Her car bammed into the white car in front of her in the parking lot. And so the story was so devastating because not only was she so innocent, but that her family is so devastated by the loss. And so since that day on, there's a very big exploit. Like, it literally exploded the internet, and everybody was on to wanting to stand up. And so it reached a breaking point following a massive immigration crackdown by the Trump administration known as the Operation Metro Surge. So this operation involved the deployment of over 2,000 federal agencies from the ICE and the DHS to the region. And so not just that story of Renee's fatal shot in January 7th, there's also the story of a federal officer shot a Venezuelan national in the leg during a confrontation where agents were allegedly attacked with a shovel and a broom handle in January 14. And the Insurrection Act threat on January 15, President Trump threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act of 1807. What was that? So he stated on social media that if corrupt politicians in Minnesota, which are the people that are trying to stand up for all of the unfairness, do not stop these professional agitators from attacking the ICE agents, then he will deploy the US military to quickly put an end to the travesty by basically getting the US Army to stop these people by themselves. And involving this act would allow the president to bypass the traditional limits on using active duty military forces for domestic law enforcement, which is not a thing that any presidents have ever did before. And so this was very controversial. A lot of politicians have been saying that this is not a smart choice at all, and that is rather impulsive and reckless. And so a lot of legal and political responses have happened, like the Minnesota lawsuit, the ACLU action that they have filed against a class action lawsuit on behalf of the US citizens who were allegedly detained or harassed by federal agents based on their ethnicity. So there's racism in the story too. And also state leaderships have condemned the federal presence as a campaign of organized brutality and has called on the administration to end the occupation. And so, in contrast, the White House and some Republicans defend the Asians, calling them patriots under attack, calling them people that love the country under the attack. And so, you guys see that this story is day by day getting worse. And so, I will slowly catch on you guys on daily updates. I'm sure of it. But to this point right now, we see that there's a lot of things happening in the federal government itself, and that it's the United States president choice to whether or not do he want to handle this in a smart way or not. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.